here. Thank you for taking your seats in advance, and our program will begin momentarily. So I just want to say to distinguished guests, members of our community, good afternoon. I am Erica Green. I am the proud principal of Conwell Middle Magnet School, located here in the heart of Kensington. It is an absolute honor to stand before all of you today at this historic event. I welcome you to our school community, which is a beacon of learning and hope in the heart of Kensington. Our school is not just a place of education, it is a cornerstone of our community that nurtures future leaders and change makers. At this time, I ask everyone to please stand as the esteemed Philadelphia Police Color Guard presents the colors. Their presence signifies the strength and solidarity of our city and the unwavering commitment of those who protect and serve us. We're going to pause for the Color Guard presentation at this time.
Color Guard, up, in, up, forward, up. Ready? Hey.
Please remain standing as Philadelphia Police Officer James Keith honors us with the national anthem.
Reset, up!
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and of the free and the home of the brave, the brave, the brave.
Forward, march!
Now, the highlight of today's event is the swearing-in ceremony for our Police Commissioner, Kevin J. Bethl, performed by our city's 100th Mayor, Sherelle Parker. This ceremony is not just a formality, but a solemn promise to our city, embodying the values that we hold dear. After the oath of office, we will welcome remarks from Police Commissioner Bethl, who will inspire us and call us all to action. It is now my profound privilege to introduce a trailblazer and Philadelphia's guiding light, the 100th mayor of the city of Philadelphia, Sherelle Parker. Mayor Parker's journey is one of resilience and commitment to service, mirroring the spirit that we instill our students here at Conwell Middle Magnet School. As we prepare to welcome Mayor Parker, let us take a moment to recognize the gravity of this occasion. Join me in a round of applause to warmly welcome and recognize the 100th Mayor of Philadelphia. Madam Sherelle Parker, this is your inauguration day. Mayor Parker, today does not mark only the beginning of your term, but also the continuation of our city's journey toward an even brighter, bolder, and dynamic future. At this time, our 100th mayoral, Miss Madam Sherelle Parker.
Let me just start by saying good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's an honor and a privilege to be here on today. To the people of Kensington, the community right here at the Russell Conwell Magnet Middle School, led by a woman who I am proud to say that she and I have some very deep, deep ties. I don't have to imagine about the quality, Dr. Watlington, of the educational instruction and or the expectations that teachers and the administration here have as it relates to the students, because we are both graduates and come out of the education department at Lincoln University, the first historically black degree-granting institution of higher learning in the nation. And I'm sorry, Principal Green, I must be just in the moment. You know, SOAR President Fudge was just with us a few minutes ago, so you should also know that she's my soror in Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. To our school superintendent, Dr. Watlington, members of the board who are here, to our Philadelphia Police Department officials, and to our officers, and to our soon-to-be official new police commissioner, Kevin Bethl. You can give a round of applause for that. It's an honor to be here, but I wish I could tell you, especially when we first met, because I'm not sure if he shared, I had no idea who he was before we met. I lived on the other side of the town, and I think Council President Johnson and Representative Jordan Harris said a lot of your work had been in South Philly when they talked about him being in the district. Well, I'm from the 14th district, so I never interacted much with him, but let me tell you something. If you want to see the real measure of a man, especially a girl dad man, listen, I need you to know how I felt in the mayor's reception room in City Hall when we announced his selection, his lovely wife, and his 3 daughters. And if I screw it up, charge it to my head and not my heart. Is it Bianca, Naomi, and Dominique? All right, listen, give these lovely ladies and their beautiful mother, Mrs. Bethel, a huge round of applause. This is a momentous day for our city. A few minutes ago in another part of town, Commissioner Bethel, Director Teal, and Public Safety Director Gear and I and other members of the Parker administration were in a place where, I don't know about you, but if you were in the room, you had to feel the energy and the, quite frankly, the hope that was in the room. And I would argue to you that part of that hope is because Kevin Bethl is going to be the next police commissioner here in the city of Philadelphia. So we are here today to formally conduct this ceremony. You heard me mention our new cabinet members who are present, our budget director, I don't think he's here, and so many others. We want to send a message to you on today that we're ready to roll up our sleeves and get to work. I've committed and sought to identify people who shared this vision that it was possible for us to work together in creating a safer, cleaner, and greener Philadelphia that would provide economic opportunity for all. And in order to kick this off, I want you to know that it's not, as much as I love Principal Green, this is not a coincidence why we're here today. Where's Councilwoman Ketsi Lozada? Are you here? Councilwoman, give Councilwoman Ketsi Lozada a huge round of applause. Councilmember Harity, Street, and Representative Jose Giral. Give them all a round of applause, please. To Councilwoman Lozada and all of the elected officials who represent this area, you know, I am what I like to call an active listener. And I'm not sure if you remember the meeting that we had, the very quiet meeting that we had where there were no press, and we just had a chance to talk about what was needed here. And I committed to you during that time that if in fact it was God's will and the people gave me this opportunity, that Kensington would not be an afterthought for the Parker administration. So when you hear me say safer, we must and will have not only a safer Philadelphia, but safer for the people who live in the Kensington neighborhood and for people who have lived here, long-term owner occupants over the years. And in order to do the work to make this and every other neighborhood safe and to deliver on our promise to make Philadelphia the safest big city in the nation, I had to publicly affirm what people said: you're elected to public office. Politicians never do this. But I had to tell the people in the city of Philadelphia that I couldn't do this alone. I'm not a public safety official. I don't know anything about policing, but I needed to find the right partner. And after an extremely careful and a thoughtful search that included subject matter experts, because one of the things I think that makes me smart is that I know what I don't know. And so I made sure I worked with people who do know, and I'm telling you, I've grown to rely on them and their subject matter expertise, particularly as it relates to public health and safety. And I want to right now ask you to give me a resounding round of applause for two former Philadelphia Police Commissioners, Charles Ramsey and Richard Ross. Philadelphia wouldn't have Kevin Bethl had it not been for Charles Ramsey and Richard Ross. In our first 100 days working with Commissioner Bethl, we'll announce specific plans to increase the number of Philadelphia police officers on our streets with a focus on community policing citywide. When I talked about this issue, you know, there were a whole lot of people who said to me, Sherelle, you can't say out loud that you want to put more police officers on the streets of the city of Philadelphia, engaged in community policing. And you should change that message about community policing depending on which neighborhood you travel to here in our city. I said I wouldn't do that because I know, and I know I'm showing how old I am here, Ralston, don't you laugh. I had two of the best. These are the gold standard of community policing officials here in the city of Philadelphia, and they were patrolling our neighborhoods on bikes, and those officers, they were named affectionately M&M for Moody and Merchant. Give M&M a round of applause. They were the officers who they walked the beat. They would ride bikes. They were our neighborhood officers. They were there as guardians and not warriors, and they built relationships with the people they were sworn to protect and serve. And I can only tell you this story because I know it and I witnessed it. We had a serial rapist in Northwest Philadelphia in the 14th Police District who was hiding out in a nearby apartment building near Wadsworth Avenue. Detectives and all of these special prosecutors and other experts have been getting together to figure out what we could do to track this serial rapist down. It was officers Moody and Merchant who were able to get a tip. Guess what? Tip didn't come through 911. Tip came when we did have cell phones during that time, or I can't remember if it was a beeper. I'm hip-hop +1, so it changes. But nevertheless, residents in the community felt confident enough and comfortable enough, and they trusted Moody and Merchant enough that they were the ones who got the tip, and ultimately, the serial rapist was caught and off the streets of the city of Philadelphia. A little later today, when Commissioner Bethl is going to be by my side, I'm going to sign an executive order. And I want you to hear it first so that you know it. I'm going to sign an executive order declaring a public safety emergency in Philadelphia, and expeditiously, yes, I am. And the reason why we're going to do it is because it will help us to expeditiously get available resources into neighborhoods, particularly those that are struggling from scourges of crime, gun violence, drugs, and addiction. To our city, know that I have trust in Commissioner Bethl, and I know that he can deliver for our city. He has over 35 years of experience in policing here in Philadelphia, and he's developed a national reputation as an expert in juvenile justice reform. He understands what is happening in our neighborhoods when it comes to crime and violence, and he understands the statewide and national trends as well. He also doesn't need a GPS to get to 52nd Street either, because he's a native son of Southwest Philadelphia. So we are extremely honored to be here today at Russell Conwell Middle School in Kensington to administer the oath of office to our new police commissioner, Kevin Bethl. Commissioner, if you would stand up, let's get you sworn into office and we'll get to work for the people of the city. And while I'm turning to my script, let me also say this. You know, it's been a long time from what I hear about a mayor willing to stand up and let the police commissioner and leadership within the Philadelphia Police Department, along with the rank and filers who are on the streets every day doing their best to make our city safe. It's been a long time since we had a public affirmation for law enforcement in the city of Philadelphia. Soon to be, Commissioner Bethl, I want to do what we do in the Baptist church. I want to do something called make it plain. This commissioner, Kevin Bethl, has the support of his mayor 1,000%. I know he is going to do what is right to make the public health and safety of our city his #1 priority. He knows that a Accountability is at the top of my list. I'm looking at some of my community-based organizational leaders who are in the audience here, and we know we have to have zero tolerance for any misuse and or abuse of authority by our law enforcement officials, and that goes without saying. But let me let you know something. The man who's going to lead you, Kevin Bethl, I've got his back. He's got your back. And the people in our city, when they see you engaging in community policing and rebuilding trust with the people in neighborhoods across our city, I think we're going to see a resurgence of what we saw when I was a little girl, when people thought of law enforcement as not only just a career, but a way that they could develop strong relationships in the community. With that being said, can you place your hand on the Bible? Yes. Left hand on the Bible, raise your right hand. Mrs. Bethl. Yeah, that's just fine. Now thank you. Please repeat after me. I, Kevin Bethl,
I, Kevin Bethl,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support,
that I will support,
obey, and defend
obey, and defend
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the Commonwealth of
the
Pennsylvania,
Constitution of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania,
and the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter,
and the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter,
and that I will discharge the duties
and I will discharge the duties
of my office with fidelity.
of my office with fidelity.
Congratulations, Philadelphia. Kevin Bethl is now your police commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Police Commissioner Kevin J. Bethel's dedication to our city is an inspiration to all of us. Before we conclude today's ceremony, I'd like to welcome former Philadelphia Police Commissioner Charles Ramsey to come forward to present a special gift to Commissioner Bethel's wife, Rhonda Bethl. This is a token of appreciation from our grateful city of Philadelphia. Mrs. Bethl, thank you for sharing him with us. And lastly, all right, so we want to express our deepest gratitude to all who have joined us for this celebration, and let us carry the spirit of today into the future with hope, commitment, and determination, and let's move forward together in unity. But before we conclude, Mayor Parker has something to share and someone to acknowledge at this time. Mayor Parker.
Yes, I'm sorry. This is a first for us as well, but we have the president, the newly elected president of the FOP here, and I want you to just stand up and be recognized. Roosevelt Poplin. Roosevelt, I didn't know you were sitting there. I didn't know you were sitting there, but you heard my message. Thank you, Mr. President.
At this time, our new Commissioner Bethl, would like to address everyone at this time. Commissioner Bethl.
So by now you know,
following this mayor in a speech is absolutely impossible. I just left an hour and 15-minute speech, and then she comes in here. I'm like, didn't we just do something like an hour and a half ago? But that's amazing. I know the mayor acknowledged some of the folks on the stage, but I do also want to recognize that the FBI SAC here, Wayne Jacobs, is with us as well. If you want to stand. Before I have some written remarks, because if I don't read my written remarks, I'll get off message. I'm not good like my mayor here, but I do want to start at a place of my why. You know, it wasn't a theatrical act to bring people here to Conwell Middle School. You know, it was, when I joined this school district in 2019, I never thought I would see the level of violence and the downstream impacts it would have on our schools. But I would meet at Principal Green when I arrived. Nothing more difficult in August of 2021 to sit there and have a principal be accosted by somebody with a knife and a screwdriver while she was moving individuals away from her school. Luckily, the police officer was riding down the street when that happened, and luckily she did not get injured. But it just raised my concern. I see Principal Garcia in the audience as well out here. Across on Willard, I remember sitting in the Willard school one day where I'm sitting there because bullets have come through the window of the school. Luckily, the kids had just left the classroom a half an hour earlier. But nothing more frustrating than being able to have to turn around and work with my team to put bulletproof blankets on the windows so the bullets won't come through the school anymore. Just think about that. And so my why came from that. People say, why would you come back into this space? My why was sitting in that room, and I see many of the school leaders here today and saying, is that who we are as a city? Is that who we want to be as a city? And so I didn't need to be reignited in my energy. I've always had energy, everybody knows that. But what it did refocus on how we can work collectively to meet that challenge that the mayor put forth. And so I'm honored to be in this position. But the mayor get one thing what I love about her is during my interview process, I talked about my mother. And I will try not to cry because my daughter says when I talk about my mother, but it's me and my brother were talking about it, and we talked about it at Christmas. It'll be 100 years this year. My mother was born in 1924. My mother would come from the South, and because she wanted to create a better life for her, raised on a farm. My mom didn't have a high school education. I think she had a 9th grade education. She would get married and have 4 boys. But my father would leave us very early in our lives. Me and my brother would talk about it. We got evicted twice. We lost everything we ever had in our lifetime. We lived in a hotel at times. Keep it was 6 times, 7 times we moved during our high school years. But my mother was my rock. Her strength and resilience is why I stand here today. I sit there and tell the mayor, I said, I think there's a reason she passed me. She said, you know what? I tell people I'm a feminist. I got all my ladies in the house. You know what I mean? And I said, I think God brought me here and put me in this place to be that person for this mayor. I've been raised by a strong African-American woman who raised 4 boys who would go on to do very well. And so I'm so honored to be in this space. I have 2 individuals here today, and I'm so glad they were here. Commissioner Ross couldn't make it when I was announced, but y'all gave him a pretty rousing award, a round of applause, which I think may have been better than mine, but I'm gonna work with it. But the mayor made a comment, and yeah, listen, at the end of the day, I'm not standing here if it wasn't for these 2 gentlemen here. Both of them bookends in my life, right? Both of them different. Now, we fought. We didn't always see eye to eye. But hey, listen, Commissioner Rawls let me do whatever I want to do. Well, 50% of the things I wanted to do. But he let me be a leader, right? He let me lead. He never was concerned about his ego or anything else. He let me lead during my time in that position. And oftentimes we lose track of what that was to be. Commissioner Ramsey would be like a father to me, even though he's young enough to be my uncle. As I told people, my father left when I was a young man, but his voice and his presence in my life is like my father. When I call him, I call looking for advice like a father. And they both have been very instrumental in my career and will be continued. So I'm not that guy. You heard the mayor say, you can't do this stuff alone. You don't do this by yourself. And so there's times I'm gonna be on the phone with both of them, depending on what kind of answer I want, which one I'm gonna call. But now they're going to be with me, and there's others going to be with me as we lead this process. My family is here, my brother's here, my mother-in-law is here, and I'm just so grateful for them. Jessica's and all of those, my family members are here today. But you heard to talk about my daughters. You know, I'm a family man. I don't hide it. I don't shirk away from it. It is who I am. It's what I am built on, is my family. I'm the guy with the mother who raised 4 boys, I'm the guy who has 3 girls. How you like that? Yeah, but I have amazing family, an absolutely amazing family. I won't get into their stories at all. That's my mini-me, all we on the other end. So 30 years from now, she may be sitting up here running the police department. But I'm so proud of my girls. They are doing phenomenally well. I mean, because that was the charge in 1924, right? 100 years to turn the legacy over, where my girls all have college degrees, and well, my babies in Spelman should be finishing up in a couple more years. But it is to turn our lives over. My mother's journey did reach its pinnacle in doing that. I leave my comments. My wife, listen, you know, I think everybody who knows me knows Rhonda, right? There is no daylight between us. She is my rock. She is the person. I'm so grateful that because Mr. Ramsey tried to do a little workaround on me and gave her flowers. I worked with that because I didn't bring her no flowers, but I worked with it. But I'm just so grateful. My wife has always been there with me. She will forever be there with me. I'm so appreciative of all the things that she's done. And so let me get into my comments because I know there's a tight timeline going on here. Ladies and gentlemen, and Mayor Parker, esteemed elected officials, I do want to acknowledge Superintendent Wallington and the President of the Board. I thank you both for the opportunities you gave me while I was working with you. You know what I mean, Dr. And Dr. Cooper, who ran CASA. I just appreciate you all. I talked about my wife and my kids and also the honored guests here. And I also want to talk about my brave colleagues, my brave law enforcement colleagues here. Today, as I stand before you, I'm not just taking an oath as your new police commissioner. I'm embracing a profound responsibility. We gather here in the heart of our city's struggle, an elementary school that has become the symbol of resilience and the strength of our community, both here and across the city. This school, Russell Conwell, and many others in this community are beacons of learning, light, and hope. But they bear the scars and consequences of an unchecked open-air drug market, one that thousands of students pass through daily to get to school. Our streets, as well as our schools, should be safe havens for our children, are instead battlegrounds against substance abuse, violence, and despair. Here in Kensington, the reality is stark and painful. Needles lead our paths, drug users are impaired. Our youth are often diverted from their potential, and the community spirit is under siege and stressed. But let it be clear, this ends today. I met a couple of young people from a safety program that are sitting over today. I want you to take a hard look at those young children when you walk out of here and understand what they must deal with every day in this space. Let them be the picture of what you see, right, when you walk out of here. Because those young men, I think the young man here asked us a question at one of the sessions here representing his school, and I'm so appreciative of them. To the courageous men and women of our police force, I address you directly. Your role in ensuring the safety of our communities is pivotal. You're not just enforcers of the law. You are the guardians of our community's well-being. Every day you put your badge on, not merely as a duty, but as a solemn vow to protect and serve. Our approach to restoring peace and safety in our streets will be rooted in respect, rooted in integrity, and a deep commitment to justice. We will unite to ensure enforcement is fair and focused. You are on the front lines of the battle against chaos and lawlessness, but you're also the bridge builders to communities that have felt neglected and unheard. Your interactions, your decisions, and your actions will reflect our collective commitment to reach a future where safety and trust go hand in hand. Our strategy will be threefold: prevention, intervention, and enforcement. Let that sit for a minute. The mayor often refers to this model as PIE. The Mayor's Philadelphia Neighborhood Safety and Community Policing Plan captures all of these elements. Prevention is about reclaiming our future. It means investing in education and providing our youth with alternatives to the streets. It's about working with our community to build pathways to success, not pipelines to prevention. Intervention is about recognizing that we cannot wrest our way out of this problem. It involves partnering with our citizens and stakeholders to provide support and treatment for those in need. We want to heal our community. And lastly, enforcement means restoring law and order humanely and with dignity. It means that open drug markets that are occurring right here in Kensington and cast a shadow over our community will be dismantled. We will pursue those who harm and traumatize our neighborhoods across the city. Traumatize our neighbor across the city with unwavering determination. Ladies and gentlemen, it is unacceptable, the violence and crime that many of our communities must endure. It is unacceptable. To the school leaders, families, students, and community members who have endured, held this particular community together in its darkest time, I pledge you my full support and partnership. To the mayor, who has trusted me with the task of leading the city's safety strategy, I promise accountability and results. And to each of you, the 1.6 million citizens across the city, who are the heart and soul of our city, I vow to listen, to understand, and to act. Today marks a new chapter in our city and our police department. Listen, there will be challenges and setbacks, but we'll be steadfast and persevere until we restore hope, safety, and order to our streets. So I say to all of you, let's embark on this journey together with courage, determination, and unwavering belief in a safer and better tomorrow for Philadelphia. I thank you, Mayor, for the opportunity to serve. I thank the community for the opportunity to serve. Let's get to work.
So again, I don't mind repeating this. I want to express my deepest gratitude to all who have joined us for this celebration today. Let us carry out the spirit today into the future with hope, determination, and let's move forward together in unity in Philadelphia. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful afternoon.